In this video, I want to discuss a recent fine of $2.175 million that was levied against Sentara Hospital. As you can see in this notice by the Office of Civil Rights, the OCR was responding to a complaint they received and began an investigation of Sentara. During the investigation, they discovered a breach of 577 individuals. However, Sentara only reported a breach of 8 individuals, so 569 individuals did not receive a timely notification. Always, when you do have a breach, it's important to realize that there are time frames on which a breach must be reported to both the individual and the federal government. So since this breach was a breach of 500 individuals, Sentara needed to notify the OCR within 60 days of discovery. And then those 569 individuals should have been notified 60 days after the discovery of the breach, which in this case they were not. The investigation also discovered that Sentara failed to enter into a business association agreement with Sentara Healthcare. This is something that, anytime that you are sharing, using, or disclosing PHI to an outside entity, you need to have a business association agreement with that organization. So the one thing that Roger Servino, the OCR director, said, HIPAA compliance depends on accurate and timely reporting of breaches because patients and the public have a right to know when sensitive information has been exposed. He goes on to say, when healthcare providers blatantly fail to report breaches as required by law, they should expect vigorous enforcement by the Office of Civil Rights. And this kind of follows a trend of the Office of Civil Rights over the past couple of years where, we got to realize that HIPAA's been around for, over 16 years now, and we have no reason as healthcare providers not to fully understand the requirements. On this slide, we have some information about this breach itself. There's a website if you want to go look for the breach, and then also a link to information about breaches themselves. So now I want to kind of cover what you need to do if you think you have a breach. The first thing you're going to need to do is actually conduct an investigation to determine if a breach actually did occur. If so, if the breach did occur, you need to attempt to mitigate and secure the PHI that was breached to prevent subsequent uses and disclosures of that information. Once you've done that, you want to look at your organization and see how you can prevent future breaches that are similar in nature to the breach that occurred. Now that's going to be done by changing your technologies, updating your policies and procedures, and also employee training if it comes down to that. In a lot of cases, just ensuring that your employees are properly trained will prevent many of these breaches from occurring. You will also need to notify the patient within 60 days of discovery of the breach itself. And the Office of Civil Rights, if it's a breach of less than 500 individuals, they need to be notified within 60 days at the end of the year the breach was discovered. If it's 500 or more, they need to be notified within 60 days of the actual discovery itself. Now, when you notify the patient, there's 5 items that need to be on the notification itself. First, you need a description of what occurred, including the date of the breach and the date of discovery. You need a description of the PHI that was actually involved in the breach itself. Also, anything that you believe the patient should do to protect themselves. Depending on the breach, that's really going to reflect on, if there's anything the patient needs to do to actually protect themselves. Also, a description of what you are doing as part of your investigation to secure and mitigate the PHI, and also whether or not, depending if, depending on the PHI that was disclosed or used, you may want to contact a healthcare lawyer and start the process of maybe looking at getting identity protection for the individuals that were part of the breach. And then you need to provide them with any contact information so the patients can contact you if they have any questions about the breach itself. So here are some examples of breaches that have occurred or may occur in a pharmacy setting. The first one is probably one of the more common ones. It's not all that common, but still one of the more common ones here. Placing a patient's prescription vial, insurance card, or other PHI in another patient's bag. If that other patient does see that information, that is considered a breach. Lost electronic devices with unencrypted PHI on them. This can include computers, laptops, tablets, flash drives, smartphones, and so forth. Anything that can be removed from that pharmacy that's electronic in nature, if it is lost and it's not encrypted PHI, then that is considered a breach. Also, faxes sent to the wrong recipient. We always recommend that if you are going to be faxing PHI to someone, you call them first, let them know that you are faxing that, and verify the fax number with them. Sending emails containing PHI through unencrypted email services. Most email is unencrypted. It's something you need to realize, and if you are going to send PHI, you always want to use some sort of encrypted email service. Texting PHI, very similar to emails, that is unencrypted, so you want to make sure that you use an encrypted text service. And then displays an electronic media and paper with PHI that has not been made unreadable. So if you do need to get rid of electronic devices, you want to make sure you store the information that is on there. And if you are throwing away papers with PHI, you want to make sure that you shred that PHI or otherwise make it completely unreadable. Now, if you have our HIPAA track program, the HIPAA track program itself goes over what to do if you have an investigation and need to report a breach. So, the policy is going to start with suspected breaches and violations. It's going to walk you into the investigation policy and procedure, and then if there is a breach, it's going to walk you into the breaches notification policy and procedure. If you do have any questions, you can contact us at 1-800-338-3688. You can give us an email at prsinfo@prsrx.com. And then our website is PRSRX. And if you want to look at our compliance programs, including HIPAA track, you can go to that www.prsrx.com/pharmacy-services/compliance.